I'm Jay Edidin.
And I'm Miles Stokes.
And we're the hosts of Jay and Miles Explain the X-Men, a weekly podcast all about the ins, the outs, and the retcons of comics' greatest superhero soap opera.
We're also the hosts of Jay and Miles Review the X-Men,
which you're watching right now,
where we talk about the X-books that come out each week.
This week we've got 2 weeks worth of books, the weeks of December 7th and 14th, and we are once again back in our home in Castle Sexy Dracula. We had all intentions to go to books with pictures, and then some stuff started falling out of the sky.
And Portland, So everyone talks about how Portlanders are wimps whenever it snows, and they all go crazy on the roads.
It's not that. It's that Portland gets so little snow that it doesn't make sense to invest in things like snowplows and salt and gravel trucks, and so there's zero infrastructure to actually deal with snow when it happens.
Yeah, right now it's black ice out there. We were on it earlier. Bad times, don't recommend it. But now we're here cozy with a great spice rack in the background made by our friend Tony. So let's talk about some comics. Last week's book is All New Wolverine number 15, written by Tom Taylor with art by Jabril Morissette-Fan and colors by Michael Garland. So first, I want to talk about how excited I am that All New Wolverine was announced as a book that's going to continue through Resurrection. It's going to be, I believe, the only book we've heard of that's just going to keep on with its existing numbering. And honestly, I think it's the strongest current X book, so I feel great about that.
Not only its existing numbering, but its existing creative team.
Well, just the writer. It will be getting a new artist. New artist looks pretty good, though.
It's been rotating through new artists pretty much every story arc, and sometimes more than once a story arc, as in this case.
Yeah, so that's awesome. Now, as far as this issue, this is another chapter in the Enemy of the State 2 storyline, which I'm pleased to report makes perfect sense without having read the original Enemy of the State, the Wolverine story, like the Logan Wolverine story. And once again, things are heavy and things are dark, and we're exploring a genre that All New Wolverine hasn't particularly explored yet, which is the conspiracy thriller, one that works really, really well for Laura.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I had trouble with the artwork on this one. I think Fan is generally pretty strong. I find the way this artist draws noses so profoundly distracting, like to a point that actually pulls me out of the comic.
It's a little strange. People look worried a lot.
No, it's noses specifically. It's the way they're outlined and shaded. And it's just this one specific quirk, and everyone's got the same one. And it just... Yeah, it largely defined my reading experience.
Which is unfortunate because I think some of the emotion in the faces, noses aside, and some of the body language worked really well. But yeah, it's a strange little touch. So plot-wise, we have some interesting stuff. We have Madripoor going on, of course.
Always
we have
fun.
Betrayals and mercenaries and dismemberment.
Vastly unsatisfactory pirates. I am personally with Gabby. I feel like if you have a pirate ship, you ought to have cannons.
I mean, Gabby's right about a lot of things. But we also have Roughhouse coming back. The Brian Blessed-looking, maybe Asgardian, maybe not character from like the early Wolverine ongoing series.
In general, this isn't a standout issue, but it's a really good just mid-story issue. Story.
Yeah, and I have mixed feelings about seeing Kimura again. Laura's previous handler from her early miniseries, who was strangely totally absent, never mentioned in the first miniseries, Innocence Lost, and then Around All the Time in Target X. That was weird. But she's an important part of Laura's story, just the character, the Sabretooth to Laura's Wolverine, essentially.
She's so cartoonishly terrible. And I mean, I guess Sabretooth is too, come to think of it. So.
Yeah, exactly. So that works well. I'm excited this book is continuing. I'm enjoying this arc. Once again, All New Wolverine has been stellar from the very start. Like, if you're reading one X book, and I say this as somebody who loves All New X-Men very much, but if you're reading one X book, I think All New Wolverine may be the way to go.
Moving on to this week's books, we've got Inhumans vs. X-Men #1, written by Charles Soule and Jeff Lemire, with pencils by Leinil Francis Yu, inks by Jerry Alangulan, and colors by David Curiel. I'm really into this series.
Yeah, who expected this? Like, this was a premise that should be dumb. And honestly, the premise itself is kind of dumb. But the execution? Holy crap.
Well, the premise that the X-Men haven't been facing off, that what Cyclops did is at all controversial, is dumb. Frankly, I am soundly with the X-Men in this, and the X-Men are very soundly the sympathetic party, at least so far in this series, which I appreciate. And man, this is so cool. So in #0, we saw Emma starting to plot, and we saw things reaching crisis point with the second Terrigen Cloud and the Inhumans and the mutant fatalities. Here we see Emma's plan start to come to fruition, and man, so this looks like it's going to be a 2-artist switch off. At least we've got different pencilers on this in the previous one. Last one was Kenneth Rockefort. Now we're on Leinil Yu. They work well. The bridging factor And such a good bridging factor is David Curiel on colors, who is defining this book in ways that, I mean, everything is gorgeous here. And the writing is spot on and the art is spot on, but the colors for me are absolutely what make this title what it is.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. The characterization is interesting as well. I mean, we mentioned this with number 0, but in my opinion, this is shaping up to be and may already be the defining Emma Frost story.
So our panel of the week was very nearly a panel of Emma from this issue. And it's one of several that's got an element I absolutely love, which is current Emma, post-Marvel Now Emma, where's Black Emma, performing classic Emma.
In the sexy way.
And the extent to which, for example, you frames panels in ways that reinforce that. You know, not only what she wears, not only, but her body language, and also the way she's presented on the page. The way you know, I mentioned the panel layout. There's again one in particular that speaks to that. But yeah, Yu's work here is just stunning. And again, Curiel's knocking it out of the park. The writing is great. This is the series. I don't know if it quite vindicates all of the Inhumans and X-Men nonsense, but it's nice seeing something that I enjoy this unreservedly coming out of it.
Completely agree, yeah. And I also got to say, like, so, you know, every issue of a miniseries is a chapter of that miniseries, of course. And this one, what this does, like, the 0 issue set up the stakes, and this basically sets up the heist that is the X-Men's original plan to make things work. And of course, everything's got to go to hell because we have 5 issues left. But the way the X-Men do this, the way they incapacitate various Inhumans is kind of brilliant.
I will say that there was a listener question that came up in the episode of our podcast that Charles Soule was on, which is effectively answered in this issue. I'm not going to say which one it is, but I will say that I did definitely jump up and yell yes.
Charles was very good when we interviewed him on the show at just
very
sort of
evasive,
dancing around this one. Yes. So well handled. But for me, the Jean Grey Karnak scene is one of my favorite little things that's happened in a comic in a long time.
That's a lot of fun. I mean, every aspect of this I'm really enjoying. I also really appreciate the other thing that you mentioned, that it's the heist launching. But it's also the issue that gets the band back together.
We even have Rogue hanging out with the leaders of the X-Men.
Well, and the last page is a splash of all of the X-Men teamed up and leaping into theoretical battle. And just, I mean, I have a just profoundly Pavlovian response to that at this point. I am just, I'm just operant conditioned to feel warm and fuzzy and good and like galvanized.
Well, and from what we've heard, part of what Resurrection is going to be about is to make the X-Men big damn heroes again. So, and as much as, yes, there's some moral grayness going on here, obviously nobody's in the right fully.
That's not true. The X-Men are absolutely in the right.
He does make a good point that maybe they should have talked to the Inhumans a little more, but then the other X-Men are like, it wouldn't work.
Should have brought up the urgent, impending, extinction before there was a 2-week countdown, and maybe the Inhumans are the ones with the onus on them to do outreach, since they're the ones who are actively perpetrating genocide by accident.
Inhumans!
Yeah, like I'm firmly with the X-Men on this.
Well, I mean, I kind of think we would be anyway.
No, I don't know. I mean, sometimes the X-Men are wrong.
It's true. But
often
this time,
the X-Men are wrong. This time the X-Men are firmly right.
Hopefully nobody horribly dies anymore like my buddy Madrox. Crumble, crumble, crumble.
I know. His grave was in this one.
At least there's that.
See?
I kind of wish they just had a bunch of little gravestones. Would have been great.
Oh, that would have been really good, yeah.
Well, he'll be back. He's Madrox. He'll be back. He's recovered from a horrible fatal plague before.
He has arguably died more times than anyone else in the X-Men.
That's true. I mean, Mr. Immortal died a lot, but he was never an X-Man. Ah, well. Regardless, Inhumans vs. X-Men, surprisingly great.
Really good. If you didn't start with number 0, I would. It's not a prologue, it's really the first chapter. But yeah, highly recommend.
Next is All New X-Men number 16, written by Dennis Hopeless, with pencils by Mark Bagley, inks by Andrew Hennessy, and colors by Nolan Woodard. Nolan Woodard has a really satisfying name to say. Nolan Woodard. It just finishes very nicely.
Yeah, it's a good name.
Good work, Nolan. Good job on your name. And also your colors. So anyway, this is so much fun. Once again, as was teased last time, we have the version of Madelyne Pryor from the Secret Wars Inferno series. Basically, an alternate reality where Madelyne Pryor won Inferno present. And God, she's a great villain.
Okay, Madelyne Pryor drinking margaritas on the beach as the world burns is peak Madelyne Pryor.
Well, specifically drinking in a beach chair in the middle of New York City as giant monsters and demons.
It's not New York, it's South Beach.
Oh, South Beach.
She specifically says she's in South Beach. She's in Miami.
Yes, but as giant monsters destroy everything around her, it's so wonderful. Because I was thinking about this, because this isn't the Madelyne Pryor that we fell in love with, like, in the era we've been covering on the show, you know, pre-Inferno. This isn't that sort of considerate, strongly independent, you know, compassionate, smart woman. I mean, all of those things are there. Well, maybe not compassionate.
And the anger is there, but the anger is tempered down because this is the Madelyne Pryor who won.
Exactly. And when you take, you know, Madelyne Pryor, as we saw her in Inferno right before she died the first time, that was a Madelyne where all she had left was just delighting in chaos and carnage and evil and just enjoying herself, because that was the only way she could claim agency. And so seeing her continue from there...
Yeah, this is a Madelyne who's finished up with the vengeance part and is now just taking some me time.
And in this case, Madelyne's me time is, you know, demonic hell invasions of South Beach.
I really like her. This is also the one who's absorbed all of the demonic energy from Limbo and is effectively queen of an interdimensional Limbo now.
And her shirt makes slightly more sense.
She's got pants. She's got actual pants now.
That's right.
And she's got a big warped dragon version of Nightcrawler, and she's awesome, and Beast is awesome. Oh my god, Beast.
So
Beast stuff happens.
Let's get to Beast, but first I want to continue talking a bit about Madelyne, because there's one point where Iceman looks her up on Wikipedia and talks about how the only time the last character he looked up who was that complicated was Scott Summers' future son. It makes me really happy.
Which could have been one of several people.
That's true. But regardless, young Bobby Drake, we feel your pain, I promise.
Does this also count as proof positive that Jay and Miles Explain the X-Men doesn't exist in the Marvel Universe?
Well, yeah, because then he would have consulted our podcast instead.
Well, yeah, no, he mentions that he looks it up online and he found almost nothing. And
he talks about
definitely done a lot of Madelyne coverage. So
yes.
We have a wiki.
That's true. That's true.
We do.
But anyway, right, Beast. So Beast in this issue describes himself as the closest thing the X-Men have to a sorcerer, which is true, although the last time he did magic-y stuff when he went back to ancient Egypt with Evan didn't go so well.
Well, arguably the next time he did magic didn't go so well either.
Right. And
it went interesting.
Because what we have here, and this is going to be something of a spoiler for the issue, although it's not addressed very much in this, is him transforming into a furry beast form of himself. A
gray-furred beast, which is a great detail because he was he originally had gray fur when he first transformed.
Right.
And blue was the highlight color, and then it just got colored blue more and more.
But it's also the color of, Dark Beast, one of the things he was scared of becoming when he got to the present day.
Yeah.
And he's actually straight up demonic. And it's just like with Angel, with Angel we have the sentient fiery wings, a different take on how Archangel worked. Now with Beast we have a different transformed furry version.
Yeah, and this version of Beast, I mean, all of the new old X-Men. Time travel problems, man.
Jeez.
But all of the new old X-Men and how they interact with and push against or go with their older selves fascinate me.
Yeah, I think that's one of the strengths of this book, one of the biggest ones.
Beast is one of the only ones who has sort of an okayish working relationship with his older self.
I mean, he still thinks his older self is a jerk and doesn't want to become him.
He's not wrong.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's one of the ones with the most the most understanding of what made his older self into what he became. Like, Cyclops doesn't quite have a beat on that. He's just decided he's not going to be this person no matter what. Angel, I mean,
I can't follow what happened to the older Warren Worthington.
I know we did a cold open on it.
Well, yes, but the whole thing with the Angel and the memory wipe and it got weird lately.
It's complicated.
And then he just disappeared.
It's complicated. That's just his Facebook status for everything.
It's complicated.
That's currently my Facebook status for everything. I changed literally everything I could to it's complicated, and I feel really good about that.
Legit.
Yeah.
But
I was going to say, but Beast is the one where there is a clear and cogent path, and he can see exactly what steps there were. And the ways that he is avoiding but still echoing his counterpart's progression are so eerie and so effective.
And knowing now that Dennis Hopeless is going to be writing the Jean Grey ongoing series and exploring the character.
Oh my god, I'm so excited about that.
Yeah, with arguably the most dire and catastrophic future that could potentially await her. I'm really glad. Well, I'm glad he's going to be still writing X books, and I think that is the perfect X book for him to be jumping into if he's not going to be writing this one.
Yeah, I've been really bummed that he hasn't gotten to write Jean Grey for this series, because I really love his Jean. And I'm so excited about that book. And so excited about this book, which remains an absolute delight. You know, we mentioned if you're getting one book, get all new Wolverine. If you're getting one team book, get all new X-Men.
Yes, if you're getting 2 books, just get the ones that have all new in the title. It's very straightforward.
Finally comes Old Man Logan number 15, written by Jeff Lemire with art by Felipe Andrade and colors by Jordi Belair. I enjoy this book deeply.
This was a fun one.
Apparently what it took for me to enjoy Old Man Logan was Dracula. That was what was missing from this equation. This is a 2-issue, this is the second half of a 2-issue story. It's about Dracula. It's about Old Man Logan fighting Dracula. It's about Old Man Logan and Stake, who were a bunch of weirdo monsters who sort of work for S.H.I.E.L.D. fighting
the
Dracula.
Howling Commandos, the new Howling Commandos.
They're so good. The whole thing's so good. Andrade is such a good choice for this.
Yeah, the art, like this, the writing is such a great departure. The art is such a great departure. It's almost a different book than it's been up until this point. And I say this as somebody who really enjoyed the Sorrentino, past and future intercut thing overall. But this is totally a breath of fresh air just by virtue of being so very different.
I'm just enjoying this. I honestly, the rest of the series I can take or leave. I would highly recommend buying issues 14 and 15 of Old Man Logan for a really delightful standalone story. It's silly, it's great. There's a Kirby monster in this issue.
Totally
Big,
is.
Lovely. Our panel of the week.
Spoilers.
And again, Andrade is so good on this because he's got that just incredibly loose, fluid style, just that fantastic sense of movement. Like his characters almost seem like puppets just in terms of their momentum and the sort of the swing of their movement.
It actually reminds me a lot, not so much the character designs, because the designs are very different, but that feeling of motion that you described reminds me a lot of the anime, well, it's not technically anime, I think it's Korean, but Tekken King Creed.
Yeah, I can see that.
Just this sort of like staggering, stretching, lurching feel of the motion. It's really appealing and really cool.
So this is great. Again, it's a departure from the tone of the series. If you are in it for the angst and you are in it for the feels and you are in it for the long panels of Logan just being tortured and miserable and climbing up wells, you're not going to like these two. If you have good taste, on the other hand, you're going to love them. So that's 4 of 4. What's our issue of the fortnight?
Issue of the fortnight has got to be Inhumans versus X-Men number 1, a sentence I never thought I would say.
Well, we said it about number 0, too.
Yeah, what's happening? Charles Soule and Jeff Lemire and the assorted artists, like, how are you doing this thing?
I blame the colorist, personally. This is on Curiel.
Curiel, you've done the impossible. Well done. But yeah, it's an issue with stakes. It's an issue where the characters feel like they're written as themselves, where everybody's kind of believable, where I'm excited to see what happens instead of bothered by the fact that all my books are getting sort of captured for a few months time. And
where Emma Frost is the main character.
Hell yeah.
About damn time.
So what is our panel of the fortnight?
Oh, our panel of the fortnight is from Old Man Logan. There was a lot of stiff competition this week from this book and others. But ultimately, when you get a 2-page spread of a Kirby monster breaking into Dracula's castle, you go with the 2-page spread of the Kirby monster breaking into Dracula's castle. This also captures some of our favorite stuff about this art team. Just the sense of movement, the really good use of color. I mean, Jordi Belair is coloring this, and I feel like at this point saying that Jordi Belair colored books are beautifully colored is like saying the sky is up. But yeah, it's gorgeous, and it's just a good summation of how silly and enjoyable and well put together this story was. Also, giant Kirby monster. You can't lose. So that's it for this week, except not quite, because we are adding a new feature to the video reviews.
More bang for your buck.
Yes. So sometimes we have a post office box, and people send us really awesome stuff sometimes, and we're never quite sure what to do with it or where to post about it. So we decided we're going to start sticking it in at the ends of these, sort of like the mail calls on MST3K, only we're not going to actually put letters up on the screen. So we and also because this has been kind of an amazing mail week.
It has. Now I should say we've gotten a lot of amazing stuff in the past as well, and we appreciate it all. We just didn't. You're think amazing. Of doing
We're just jumping in this
now.
week. Yeah, usually we just send like private thank you emails. Sometimes we post stuff online.
Sometimes we lost the packaging stuff came in, and so we want to send a thank you note, but then we don't know how to get in touch with the person, and we feel really embarrassed.
And then we post oblique tweets, and it's awkward.
But
mostly we send private thank you emails or thank you notes. But yeah, we can do this in the videos, and it's a way to show stuff that's neat and thank people publicly. And yeah, so first of all, to Lucas, who sent a really awesome note, and also a classic Speed Racer patch.
Hard to go
I'm
wrong.
Still figuring out where I'm gonna put this.
Right on your forehead.
I was gonna say, because there's no way to like it's iron-on, but I feel like that wouldn't work on skin. So my previous plan of like forehead or over my heart.
Yeah, maybe a bad plan.
But super, super awesome. We've also got a rad holiday card with a bunch of really excellent dogs on it from Tom.
Pretty excellent.
Very cool.
Made us very happy.
Also, and we're not going to show this whole thing, but Nikki sent us this amazing care package, and also included fanfic, which was like about the stuff in it, which was amazing and great and the best thing ever. Oh, and it's on really good paper too.
I think Nikki may work harder than we do.
Yeah, no, Nikki is the best at mail.
Pretty much, yeah.
But yeah, so you are amazing and you do amazing stuff, and thank you, and you're awesome. So with that, if you like what you've seen here and think it would be way better without our faces, we do a podcast, Jay and Miles Explain the X-Men. New episodes come out every Sunday at explainthexmen.com, also on iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Play. What have we got for them this week?
This time we have a weird little two-part series that it turns out was originally a Marvel Comics Presents story before getting repackaged as a two-parter. Spotlight on Starjammer's Falcon Quest. It's really strange and fun and weird and maybe not great, but also kind of awesome, and we didn't really know what to make of it. But hopefully you will like hearing us talk about it.
It is full of space pirates, so
that's inherently a good thing. It's true.
That podcast, these video reviews, and everything at explainthexmen.com come to you via our Patreon subscribers. We're an entirely listener-supported project. Those are the folks who keep us on the air and ad-free. And if you want to join their august ranks, which you totally should, you can do that at the link either above or below this video, depending on where you're watching it.
In the meantime, we will see you next week, assuming we can somehow get past all of this black ice that has turned Portland into a wintry hellscape.
I mean, I will still see you next week. It's just that we might be, like, more unkempt.
I might have grown a beard or something. Oh, you know what I forgot to mention when we were talking about Inhumans vs. X-Men is Black Bolt's tuxedo that he wears in the quiet room.
Oh, dude, yes, that was so good.
It's got, like, his, like, design with his zigzags built into the lapels. Are those lapels?
Those are lapels. I don't know if they're on the lapels or if they're just on the chest of the jacket. So I have for ages, and I need to actually just make this or commission it, but I have been wanting a version of that with Cyclops' Marvel Now.
Oh, like the black with the red and the lines.
Yeah, and then just the tuxedo pants with just red stripes, red ribbon down the side.
Man, that would be sharp as hell.
Right? I would wear that everywhere.
Now I just want a tuxedo that's just a normal tuxedo, but green, and then it's got Banshee's weird, like, underarm stripy things on it.
That would actually be really easy.
I would just flap my arms all the time. It would be terrible at funerals.
If you can find a green tux, I can do that.
And then I'll never wear it to funerals.
Or always. We're great at parties.
And funerals.